And now, live in studio, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes.
Welcome, Consumer Quarterback Show, helping you win in any marketplace. Powered by the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. We'd love to help you win buying, selling, or investing. We're actually hiring right now also, so anybody looking to join a team, we're looking for admin, we're growing, so we'd love to talk to you. If you want to reach out to all of our expert contributors, any of our expert contributors, please reach out to the hotline, 813-750-0550. Call or text our off-air number, 813-750-0550. That's the number that you can reach. You can text that number. ConsumerQB.com is a plethora of information available for you there. And you can see links to all of our expert contributors on the website at ConsumerQB.com. Well, we've got our real estate A team in the house today. Ray Hall Appraisals, all things value and valuations for commercial, vacant land, residential properties. William Crowley as well, the credit magician. Talk about raising your score. RaiseOurScore.com is his website. And then, of course, Diane VANCE, our mortgage expert contributor. Fairway Independent Mortgage, DianeVance.com. Going to be on the program today. Interesting story right here local for our Good story. Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office launching team to address gun violence. So Sheriff Chad Chronister, former guest on this program, we're going to talk about that in our feel good story of the day. And before we jump into this content, I want to let you know about a couple of our hot listings here. 3664 Darston is a property we just listed in beautiful Palm Harbor. This is a gated community, Darston Street, Palm Harbor, 2,228 square feet, 3 bedrooms, 2 bath, 2-car garage, includes an office and a den, screen lanai, waterfront. You got a pond view back there as well. And it was interesting. We were taking the professional photography yesterday, and a little baby fawn, a little deer, ran out and was like so frantic. It was like, "Where's my mom? Where's my mom?" and ran back in the woods. It was pretty neat. I hadn't seen one in a while, but
especially out there.
Yeah, exactly. So, you got a really nice property here, 3664 Darston Street in Palm Harbor. Great opportunity to own real estate right here in Tampa Bay, gated community. And you can see all of our listings at PlatinumMVPteam.kw.com.
This is God's country.
And give a quick shout out to Veteran Gutters, Brandon Porter and his team. They do such a great job. If you're thinking about adding gutters onto your home, reach out to Brandon Porter. He's a veteran, and his company is Veteran Gutters, American-made products right here in the good old USA. Veteran Gutters, Brandon Porter. Reach out. Let him know the real estate quarterback sent you. All right, let's make our introductions. We have Diane VANCE on the line. Hey, Diane.
Hey, Brandon. How you doing?
I'm blessed and favored. Thank you so much. And yourself?
I'm great. Back in Florida for a little while, so.
All right. You made it back.
Yeah, for a few weeks anyways, yes.
Excellent.
Yeah.
You know, I was listening to another program, and they said, we're halfway through the summer. Can you believe it? The summer's already halfway over.
Oh, it's gone so fast. Yeah, it's almost August. My goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Wow. And we're taking a vacation next weekend, and finally getting, a weekend, and that'll be fun, and do some boating and going down south.
Good for you.
So that'd be fun.
Yeah, I haven't had a vacation. I've just, been playing grandma.
There you go. Anyways. Yeah, that's awesome. Well, that's fun. That is
awesome. It is fun. We're blessed that we can do that. So, yes.
Absolutely. So today I thought we would beat up on some of the big banks a little bit here today and talk about the difference between working with someone like you. You're a local, basically your own P&L, your own business that's local here locally, but you're backed by a top, I think you said top 3 lender in the country.
Yes, correct. Yeah, Fairway Independent Mortgage. That's why they call it independent. They let us all run our local branches just like we want to run it, and because we know the market best. And it's always done. We just started doing some advertising in some other markets, and we just recently, we hired somebody from CNN. We're a large lender, mortgage banker, and we can broker, but we mostly mortgage banking, which means that we sell directly to the agencies Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, Ginnie Mae. So, and we have 800 different products. So we have a lot of variety, and Fairway is the top 3 lender, and we've never advertised. So it's always by word of mouth. Our big thing is speed and get things done fast.
I love it. That's right. Because you can't miss closing dates and deadlines.
Nope, we are here. We only do mortgages. That's all we do. We don't have deposits. We don't have, commercial loans. We refer those to somebody, but we don't really have. That's all we concentrate on is on mortgages only.
Nice, good stuff. Well, we're going to dive a little bit deeper too about why we don't want our listeners, our viewers, working with the big banks. And there's a lot of reasons below the just initial better rates with Diane, better service with Diane, better speed. There's some other things there too. Let's also introduce William Crowley as well. William, what are you going to talk about today, my friend?
I'm going to talk about the large credit repair companies versus smaller credit repair companies like myself.
Yeah, small business.
I'll just piggyback off of you and Diane with the large bank, but the larger credit repair company kind of work in the same tandem as the large banks. So we do offer more of a personalized service, and even our costs we don't have the overhead expenses that the larger companies have, which is more likely diverted to the customers. So we're able to save our clients a lot of money in that regard as well. So we don't have the overhead, and we don't do any advertising either, other than word of mouth.
Right, and
except for the station.
you're a great networker. You're out there networking all the time, so that's good.
Exactly.
Kudos to you. All right, in studio as well, Ray Hall Appraisals. Welcome in.
Oh, thanks for having me. I've been in Florida. I'm kind of jealous of Diane.
Yeah, she got a little break
hot.
from Florida. It is hot.
It is roasting.
Yeah.
So
It's hotter in Savannah. Trust me.
Oh, that's true. I was actually in Nashville last month, and it seemed hotter there than it was down here. So
why is that? Because
probably
landlocked.
Maybe that's it. I don't know.
No breeze, no Gulf breeze.
No breeze, no nothing. But it was definitely hot. So, but hey, I'm here because we got a busy market going on, and up with those big lenders, I prefer to work with the little lenders over the big ones any day of the week.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
If you're one of my clients and you're a big lender, I still work with you. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, I still take the work.
It is because like Diane said, a lot of times, I'll get a lender who comes back and is asking why hot water heaters aren't double strapped.
Right.
And then I have to go back and take the time out of everything to say, well, we don't have earthquakes, so we don't have to have double strap.
Right.
So
exactly.
Working with these local lenders, they're more in tune with the local market, and really Diane hit it on the head with that one.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And so that's a great lineup for today. We got our feel good story as well. Sheriff Chad Chronister cracking down on gun responsive investigative team he's launching here as well. So let's jump right into it. I want to go into the big banks, and Diane, I played a clip. I want to play a clip here, kind of talking about what I heard on a podcast that I like. Charlie Kirk was also on our station here, and he's talking about big banks and how they're working with the current administration.
The Biden administration runs the White House like a massive merger and acquisition firm. What other entities out there can we join our ranks so that they will conform to our ways? They've already done this with banks, by the way. There is not a single bank out there in the major portfolio of banks, Wells Fargo, Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, Bank of America, that will not do everything the Biden administration asks.
So what's your reaction to that, Diane? When you look at the big
I
banks?
think he's pretty accurate.
Yeah.
I think he's very accurate. And coming, I worked for a big bank for a very long time, retired from one years ago. And there's definitely a difference, at least on the mortgage side. I've never worked on the other side. I haven't worked on the deposit side. I haven't worked on it, and I have a lot of good friends that still work there. But they do exactly what they're told, and there's a reason for that because there's a reason. There's definitely a reason for it. So they can, a lot of them got bailouts when the crash happened. A lot of them, did. A lot of them paid it back. Some didn't. Now they do have to have liquidity. That type of thing. So it's just a different world, especially in the lending side. On the mortgage world, mortgage bankers versus the big banks. The big banks. They self they register their loan officers through the National Mortgage Licensing System, but they give them their own testing internally, and we have to be licensed through the state and because the state of Florida has a separate license from the rest of the world, and so we are licensed, and every year we have to do CE credits, and they self-license these loan officers, so the experience level is definitely different,
right?
And those type of things. But yes, it's they definitely will. They definitely do whatever. It's very political.
Yeah, exactly, and that's something where, the less we can support those types of institutions, the more that we're going to have our freedoms, our choices. I think that's a big at the underlying root is that they're limiting choices, they're imposing massive fees, and every year, by the way, the big names, they've got millions and sometimes I think even billions of dollars of fines because of wrongdoing and things that end up coming out of them actually mistreating or just flat out lying and having fraudulent things happen.
Oh yeah, and those have been in the news, absolutely. And I think that again, it goes back to how much you care about your customer, how much are you caring about the customer, or is it all about the bottom line? And I really believe that a lot of them, it is all about the bottom line. But you're right, the clip was correct. There's not a lot of small banks anymore. A lot of them have been merged. And, when I worked at a big bank, I think I went through 4 or 5 mergers. And, I survived each one of them. But, every time you merged, something changed or something, it was constant change. So,
some people got fired.
Or some people got let go. I was fortunate enough to keep going. But, the last merger was the one that, did me in. It was where we bought a mortgage company and it didn't merge with another bank. And, but it was definitely a change. And it's a different world. I love Fairway. We're voted #1 mortgage company to work for. And again, for the 7th year, I think, in a row.
Awesome.
There's a reason for that, because we have a lot of support, and all they care about is the customer, and our corporate office feels like the loan officers are their customers as well. We feel like our realtors are our customers, and our customers are our customers. So, that's the difference. Everybody, all the way from processing. The difference in a bank and us is that I have local processing. Remote but local processing, and when I was at the bank, it was a centralized processing system, and you go into just a big center is what you do,
right? And
that's the difference. It makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
So our customers are taken care of right away.
Yeah.
And we don't miss closing dates. There's got to be a very good reason that we would miss it.
Right. Yeah, that's important. Diane Vance on the Consumer Quarterback Show, DianeVance.com. Check her out online. And if you are looking for a mortgage and looking, in that process of maybe investing, buying, selling, investing, or potentially, making some moves, we would love to talk to you here at the Consumer Quarterback Show and plug you into our pipeline. Over 50 different what we call expert contributors on the program. These are folks that are the best in their industry. They're vetted, and we bring them in, and they take time out of their busy schedules to spend time with us to serve the community as a consumer advocate. So we greatly appreciate that. 813-750-0550. You can call or text that line, and it's an off-air number, 813-750-0550. We'll put you right in touch with all of the best expert contributors here in Tampa Bay. So we're going to take a quick break here, and we've got Diane Vance on the program today, William Crowley, the credit magician, and Ray Hall Appraisals here on the program. We'll be right back after this short break. Please don't go anywhere. Stay with us.
Thanks for listening to my daddy's show. For more information, go to consumerqb.com.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com.
My friends, when choosing a listing agent to sell your home, their track record is critically important. Dennis Prager here for Brandon and Lindsay Rhymes, owners of Platinum MVP Team at Keller Williams Real Estate. They're consistently rated by the MLS in the top 1% of all Tampa Bay realtors, and that's a big deal. Brandon and Lindsay are always among the top realtors in the state. Call them today at 813-750-0550.
Find them at platinummvpteam.kw.com.
Selling commercial or residential property? Don't leave money on the table. List with the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. I'm Brandon Rhymes. Reach me at 813-670-7372 or platinummvpteam.com.
My name is James DeJerome, and I produce the Consumer Quarterback Show for Brandon Rhymes. The Consumer Quarterback Show is a team, a group of like-minded professionals who partner together to provide our audience sound advice, knowledge, and information to make them wiser consumers. We work with all types of business owners and aggressively promote our local economy. We're currently conducting interviews for our expert contributors. If you own a business or know someone who would benefit from the exposure our show provides, please contact us at 813-750-0550 or online at consumerqb.com.
You're listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-670-7372.
All right. Thanks for hanging out with us here. Brandon Rhymes, Consumer Quarterback Show, powered by the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. We always like to feature our real estate listings live on the program to help our sellers get a ton more exposure. 6819 North Clearview Avenue. This is a property that we've got right here in Tampa, and it's just north of the Raymond James Stadium where the Buccaneers play. 6819 North Clearview. This is a property that we've got. It's a double lot, fenced-in backyard, large home. It's got beautiful ceramic tile throughout, and this is a great opportunity. You can actually build a mother-in-law suite next door because there is a vacant land, parcel of land there. It's about 2,600 square feet, 5 bedrooms, 2.5 bath, large corner lot, family room, private fenced-in backyard. Great opportunity here in beautiful Tampa Bay, and you can see all of our real estate listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com. And let's give a quick shout out to Brothers Easy Moving, the official moving partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show. Brothers Easy Moving. Whether you're planning a local or long distance move, reach out to Brothers Easy Moving. Make sure you let them know the real estate quarterback sent ya. All right, I want to go back to Diane. So Diane's on the line here. We've got William Crowley coming up, as well as Ray Hall Appraisals. So Diane, we were talking about the differences, and this is just one more thing that we ran out of, and I didn't get a chance to comment on, but I wanted to bring it over to this side. So comparing big banks to local lenders, and as you mentioned, you are more specialized. You've got better loan programs, better rates. The programs are going to work much better for our listening audience with Fairway Independent Mortgage, top 3 lender in the country, focusing on mortgage lending. Going back to what the federal government sometimes does with their classic overreach, you have Dodd-Frank. Going back to Dodd-Frank, I think that was the beginning of the end for small community banks. Dodd-Frank required a lot more attorneys. Yeah, a lot more. Why don't you explain it from your side, and I'll add to it as well. But yeah, it required a lot more of the attorneys to be involved, and it made it a lot more in depth in terms of with the compliance.
Yeah. So there were some good things that came out of Dodd-Frank, but it actually, what came out of it, we have the CFPB, that is Protection Agency for the Consumer. However, it caused a lot of compliance. So a lot of the rules changed, and there's more. A lot of times it was to make the customer, to protect them, absolutely, but it made it so there's almost more confusion for the customer, because we have certain rules in place where you have to there's so much compliance that you have a whole team, so it's actually passed on to the consumer.
Yes,
because everybody's had to hire Some smaller companies couldn't make it because they had so much compliance that they had to do, because you have things like you have to disclose within 3 days any changes, anything. So the customers are constantly, even if the loan amount changes or if it's anything that changes on the loan during the process, and which is great as far as it, but it also can hurt the customer in the end. So, for instance, let's say we know appraisers, Ray Halls, and they're busy, right? Mm-hmm. So we may have a fast closing, and we may not have the appraisal back within 3 days of closing, or maybe coming in that third day. We have to have the customer sign prior to the 3 days that they don't need a copy of that. Otherwise, we can't close that loan until they get an appraisal and they have been able to view it for 3 days. Mm-hmm. So those type of things actually can delay a closing. We don't do that because we make sure that we do one or the other. But, if it's a faster closing, the appraisers are very, very busy, and it may take longer. Maybe the property is unique. Maybe it's a difficult, property to appraise or something like that. So there's a lot of things that they didn't think about long term that could actually doesn't help the consumer to be able to close on time, and there's a lot of confusion with the customer, right? Because of all the compliance, and that's really what Dodd-Frank did. It made us responsible for, we're responsible for all these fees that we don't charge, but a third party charges, and if we don't disclose it or over disclose it, a lot of times we'll over disclose it. If you don't disclose it up front, you have to pay for it.
Yep.
So it made a lot of difference for a lot of different people. So they came out with qualified mortgage rules that you have to follow. So everybody thinks that we're just normally nosy. It's not even that. It's just because of all of the rules that are in place. Yeah. And those rules are done in response to the Dodd-Frank rule.
Yep, absolutely. Well said, Diane. That's a great breakdown of how that affected things, and it also, and that led to more of the small banks being gobbled up by the bigger banks, and that's what they want. They want it to be the least amount of players so they can control those players better. At least in my opinion, that's what I see.
And that has also happened with smaller mortgage companies, because sometimes you can't afford, as a mortgage company, a smaller mortgage company can't afford some of the things that come out, and they get fines. The CFPB can fine mortgage companies if they come in and they find that you didn't do something properly. Then they come in and fine you. Like if you didn't do a compliance thing or a qualified mortgage or something like that. So there's a lot of things that came about all because of that. Most of it is because of to protect the consumer. Most of it, but some of it has caused other repercussions.
Yeah, and one simple thing was having the mortgage loan officer's license. So each person had to have a license number that was attached to that file, whereas prior to that, it didn't exist, right?
Correct, yes. So everybody is licensed. However, like I said, the banks, when I was there, I was registered with the National Licensing Agency. So I took the test. Not the test. We did training in the branch, basically, or with the company. Of course, then we just tell each other what the things were. We have to now with mortgage bankers. They have to go be proctored, and you have to know your business very well.
That's right. That's how I started off back in the day as well, with a lending institution. So I was a loan officer, so technically I was under their umbrella. So there's a couple different ways it can break down, but the way it breaks down for you as a listener and someone that may be considering getting a finance is if you walk into the local bank on the corner, maybe you have your deposits with them. The person that you're going to work with is not going to be as high caliber. They might be a great person, and I'm not saying they're not a wonderful human being. What I'm saying is that they're probably not going to have the best rates, loan programs, or even access to those programs as Diane Vance, Fairway Independent Mortgage will. DianeVance.com is where you can see her, and you're going to get that fast, personalized service, very simple process, and it's going to be done by a local lender right here in the community and not one of the big Wall Street big banks. So I think we did a good job of beating up on the big banks for a little while there. So We're going to take a break. When we come back, William Crowley, the credit magician, Ray Hall Appraisals here on the program. We'll be right back after this short break. Please don't touch that dial. Stay with us.
This is Chris Voss, former FBI lead hostage negotiator and owner of the Black Swan Group, and you're listening to Consumer Quarterback Show hosted by my friend Brandon Rhymes.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com.
Mike, let me know if you need to pause or are you ready to just keep going? Keep going. All right. Everyone, please stand by.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
All right, welcome back. Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show, letting you know about a hot listing here, 11724 132nd Avenue in Largo. Now, this is an opportunity. This is an interesting one. This is one I might want to ask the appraiser about. This is 11724 132nd Avenue in Largo. Now, you've got two structures on this property. We're waiting on the professional photography to come in, but we got a couple drone shots. So you got a rentable property and another small rentable property there. But it's over an acre of land in Pinellas County. So depending on zoning and depending on some other future land use is going to depend on how many other units you can put in there, what type of units. Maybe you can go vertical, put some townhomes, and maximize the potential for income. But 11724 132nd Avenue in Largo is a great opportunity right here in Tampa Bay. $699,000 is the asking price for this vacant land with two structures on it right here in the area. So it's a great opportunity for builders, developers, entrepreneurs, close to the beach. Clearwater Beach is just minutes down the road, over an acre of land right here in beautiful Pinellas County, Tampa Bay, one of the hottest real estate markets, best place to live, work, and play on the planet. And you can see all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com. And let's give a shout out to Discovery Golf Cars, aka Golf Cart Depot, formerly known as Golf Cart Depot. Discovery Golf Cars for business or recreation. Seems like everybody's getting a golf car these days. They're so much fun. Lots of makes and models. I love taking the two dogs out for a ride, our Golden Doodle and our Cavapoo, Charlie and Carter. Easy Go, Star EV, Cushman. They have new and pre-owned, or you can rent or buy, and they offer financing and mobile repair. Check them out online, discoverygolfcars.com. Let them know the real estate quarterback sent you. Please do that. And we have we're going up on a third segment here with William Crowley, the credit magician, raiseourscore.com. So William, there's large companies out there doing the credit repair thing, and they also run TV commercials. They got guys jumping around strumming guitars and things like that, offering free reports. How are you better to work with as a small company, again, right here locally, support the local economy? But outside of that, large versus small seems to be our theme for today.
Yeah. I want to kind of piggyback off of that because the founding fathers of this country, when this country was formed, believed in small government, not big government.
Yes. Okay,
and they knew the problems with big government. They're reaching out, taking our rights and things like that. So, but to the companies that are small, I think have kind of patterned themselves after the founding fathers' ideal of small but thorough and effective. So,
yes,
I've listened to what Diane said, and the point is that I think that it's more hands-on. We're more familiar with the client, more in touch, and we can do things that probably a lot of the bigger places can't do without charging an arm and a leg to do it. I mean, I'm not saying that cheap is better, but inexpensive is one of the things that we pride ourselves in, because we do have lower costs, but we offer more services as well. Well, the big banks, the big credit repair companies, if they would offer the same services that we offer, they would be charging the customer, quite a bit more, which that's one of the reasons probably why they don't do it. So, for instance, We have a 4-stage credit restoration assistance program where traditional credit repair companies have essentially a 1-stage, okay, and that means disputing the negative information on the credit report. We do that, and we have kind of modified the way we've done that as well because it's transparent. The larger companies, there's less transparency as well, I believe, and I'm sure that Diane could agree with me on that. The transparency issue is a key issue, and so that's why we offer transparency. We show the client everything that we're doing. We're not trying to hide anything because we're using a public document called the Fair Credit Reporting Act, and so it's not nothing where, like when the larger company I work for, like Diane said, she came from, she was an SVP. I came from your traditional credit repair companies, and they were saying things like, oh, we have an exclusive computer search program that goes in and correctly identifies negative information on your credit report. In reality, they didn't have an exclusive computer search program. They were just using the Fair Credit Reporting Act, but they made it sound like something they were doing something really fantastic, and they had this exclusive software. Mm-hmm. In reality, they didn't have that, but they kind of lied. So that's why we became transparent when we started our company to say, listen, here's what we do. We show you every step along the way. So in addition to the 1-stage credit repair that they offer, we offer the 4 stages, 1 being the Fair Credit Reporting Act, 2 being the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act. And inside of the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, we have a thing called the verification or validation of debts. So that allows us to not only remove information using the Fair Credit Reporting Act from a person's credit report, let's just say in the form of collections, then we can also challenge that collector. So to say, listen, Mr. or Mrs. Collector, you're operating illegally. You've taken on a debt that has been charged off by the original creditor. The consumer no longer owes that. That needs to be revealed to the consumer. That's not revealed to the consumer by the big companies. As a matter of fact, they don't even address it with the validation of debt. So I like being a small company, even though we're nationwide, okay? But we're a smaller company. We're more hands-on. We're teaching the clients how to do credit repair the legal way using the Fair Credit Reporting Act. And then probably above and beyond everything is that we have a money-back guarantee. Money back. So that means if the client is dissatisfied, if you follow the steps that we tell you to follow and nothing happens, we'll either give you an extension, a free extension, or we will refund your money, whichever you choose. That's a great thing. And no, you won't find any credit repair company out there that I know of that does a money back guarantee either. Not the larger ones, for sure. Yeah. So, and then I said the legal credit repair, we're using the Fair Credit Reporting Act, and we're giving that Fair Credit Reporting Act to our clients. Whereas the traditional large companies, they won't give the disputes to the clients. They say, oh, no, we'll do all this for you. And they'll send them off, and you have no idea what they're saying on your behalf. And lo and behold, I was able to get a hold of some of the disputes that the larger companies used, and they were deviating from the Fair Credit Reporting, the verbiage of the Fair Credit Reporting Act. Sometimes they weren't even using the verbiage of the Fair Credit Reporting Act. So I would strongly suggest that the larger companies, if you want to really compete and really help the consumer, offer a money-back guarantee and offer more transparency. Show the clients what you're doing. Even if you're going to mail it off for them, give them that documentation so they'll know, okay, here's what the credit repair company is saying on my behalf to the the credit agencies. Right. So, that makes sense. So I can go on and on and on. I don't know how much time I have.
Let me ask you something here. So William Crowley, credit restoration expert, you work in conjunction with officers, or maybe you're referred by a bankruptcy court or an attorney saying, hey, you might want to help these people out when they can get their, kind of rebuild their credit. And then with Diane Vance, Fairway Independent Mortgage, of course, you work together in some capacity with her in certain situations as well. Now, we got a question from our Facebook page here, and they're asking, they were asking, how can I rebuild my credit if they're coming out of a family type of a crisis or an event that they had? What's the best step to rebuild credit?
The best step in rebuilding is the credit. The first thing to do is address the negative issues on the credit report using the legal aspects of the Fair Credit Reporting Act. So first and foremost, start to address the negative items that are on there. And listen, let me make sure people are clear. the information on your credit report does in fact belong to you. We know that. Okay, if it doesn't belong to you, then you're a victim of identity theft. File a police report. You don't need a credit repair company to do that. Okay, unless you've waited too long and you don't have a police report. But most of the clients that come to me, the information does in fact belong to them. Inquiries, late payments, foreclosures, charge-offs, bankruptcies, etc. Okay, that negative information can be addressed through the Fair Credit Reporting Act. First and foremost, address the negative information. As you start to remove the negative information, then you can, if you already have existing positive information, the system will automatically rescore you on that. If you don't have positive information, then you can start to rebuild once the negatives, a majority of the negative information is removed. That doesn't all have to be removed, by the way, either, for you to start to reestablish yourself.
Right. And you can do that by getting a prepaid credit card, start at least having some accounts that will show up on your credit, and that will slowly help you build over time.
Exactly. But first and foremost, remember, start to address the negative issue. Let's get as much of those negative issues off that credit report as possible.
Right.
Through the use of the Fair Credit Reporting Act.
Yeah, exactly. So if you want more information about credit, reach out to the hotline. We've got a credit package also, 813-750-0550. Call or text the hotline. 813-750-0550. Call or text that line, consumerqb.com. More coming up, William Crowley, Diane Vance, and then Ray Hall in the house. Ray Hall Appraisals coming up here on the other side of this break. And coming up as well as our feel-good story of the day. This is an interesting story here locally. Hillsborough County Sheriff Office is putting together a team to address gun violence. So find out about that and more from our expert contributors right after this short break. Please follow us online. We would love to connect with you online at Brandon Rhymes 1 on Instagram and Twitter. Consumer Quarterback Show page out there as well. And the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty pages on Facebook. We'll be right back after this short break.
Hey, I'm Ken Shamrock, and you're here with Consumer Quarterback Show. And I say, Brandon Rhymes, knock out your competition.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com.
Hey, Brandon Rhymes here. We are looking for real estate investors. We've got a new relationship bringing us a tremendous amount of off-market real estate investment opportunities. So text the word investor to our hotline, 813-750-0550. Off-market real estate investment opportunities. Text investor to 813-750-0550. Brandon Rhymes here, Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty, looking for real estate investors. Send us a text. Hey, Brandon Rhymes here for Cleaning Commandos here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Cleaning Commandos are hiring, and they're offering competitive wages, flexible hours, relaxed atmosphere, and a sign-on bonus. Reach out if you'd like a career with the Cleaning Commandos here in Tampa Bay. Info at cleaningcommandosllc.com or call 813-750-0550, 813-750-0550. Cleaning Commandos, Consumer Quarterback Show.
You're listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-670-7372.
And we're back. Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show, Platinum MVP team, Keller Williams Realty, 11724 132nd Avenue in Largo is a property. Actually, let's do 117 14th Street in BELLEAIR. This is a property that we've got over in BELLEAIR, close to the beach, literally walking distance at the end of a cul-de-sac. You walk down, you got the public access. 117 14th Street, BELLEAIR, $1.2 million listing, 4 bedrooms, 3 bath, almost 2,800 square feet, private pool, double lot, gourmet kitchen, jetted bathtub, temperature-controlled wine closet. I'm told you can fit about 460 bottles into that wine closet. Covered lanai, beautiful property right here in Tampa Bay, 117 14th and BELLEAIR Beach, Pinellas County. Beautiful property. See all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com.
Somewhere sunny and 75.
All right, we're going to tell you something good here.
Tell me something good.
All right, so the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office is putting a team together to address a growing concern both nationally and locally, gun violence. Sheriff Chad Chronister, a former guest on our program, is launching a specialized team that will focus on reducing street violence and non-deadly shootings, according to the Sheriff's Office. Sheriff's Office announced a Gunfire Response Investigations Team, otherwise known as GRIT, Wednesday at the Operations Center in Ybor. And Chronister is quoted as saying, "We will ensure that these criminals are no longer able to inflict fear and violence on our streets, in our neighborhoods, and the community we share." The sheriff spoke about the importance of responsible gun ownership, including storing your gun in a safe location. He explained that GRIT's sole focus will be on working with state and federal partners to address gun violence in our community. The team will use resources to identify violent individuals, increase the probability of crime being solved, and bring justice to those affected by gun violence in Hillsborough County. So there's our feel-good story of the day. Yeah, do you think about the gun violence going on, or just the violence in general, especially in the big cities, Chicago, New York? I mean, it's unbelievable. Yeah. And by the way, shout out to FFA, Florida Firearms Academy. If you are local here in Tampa Bay, go to Florida Firearms Academy and talk to Thomas King, and he's going to hook you up. He's got some great guns that you can go and learn how to properly load, hold, aim, and shoot to be a responsible gun owner. All right, let's welcome in Ray Hall Appraisals into the program. What's new in your world, my friend?
Oh, I'm actually taking a little break this week.
Okay.
I've been going, hard for about a little over a year now. So taking a break and hanging out with the kids a little bit. But,
nice.
Because I've got a bigger staff now, but still working.
Yeah.
Still reviewing reports, still trying to get everything out because, as you know, we still have this great market going on. So, as appraisers, we are just incredibly busy.
Yeah. Less than 1 month inventory.
Yep.
Absorption rates, 140, 150% absorption rates, just depending on the county.
Absolutely.
The growth, I've had a couple deals fall out. I had one of my big land deals fall out because the buyer just said that the county wouldn't work with them to do the development they wanted to do. So there's moratoriums going on also for building.
Which we've discussed in the past. A lot of people think you can just buy that piece of land and look, the zoning's there, everything's there. This is going to be easy and we can start building on it. But it's just not the case.
Yeah.
There's a lot more involved. There's the level of service of the roadway. Mm-hmm. There's the infrastructure. There's a lot more to putting in a development than just the zoning.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't understand that. And it's if you're looking to get into that game, a lot of people, I'm sure you saw it back in 2004 and 2005. All of a sudden, everybody was an expert in real estate.
Yeah.
And everybody jumped into it because, you could buy a house this week and sell it higher next week. And look, I'm really good at what I do.
Yeah.
So if you're thinking about doing that, just know it's a lot different than flipping a house when you're getting into developing. That's why the developers make the big money.
Yeah, it sure is. Zoning is a big thing. Building, of course, moratoriums. They're putting moratoriums on building. What about a property like I had mentioned, and we might have Michael throw this up. 11724 132nd Avenue. So this is the one I had mentioned that we might have our appraiser comment on. So the 11724 132nd Avenue. Right. This is a property. So you've got a single family structure on both ends. Mm-hmm. They own the properties in between. How would you approach that if you're looking at this property as a investment and potential to build additional units?
Well, as an investment, especially in an area like this, you want to find out what the minimum lot size is.
Okay.
In Tampa, the zoning actually, in the city of Tampa, the zoning actually indicates what the minimum lot size is.
Got it.
So if that's actually divisible into 3 separate lots, it might be more valuable as 3 separate lots than one big property. So by someone coming out and buying that property from you, they could just have instant, just go down to the county, and it probably would be a simpler process to subdivide that into 3 separate properties and then sell them off as 3 separate lots. Because trust me, builders need land.
I like that.
There's no inventory. Builders need to make the inventory. And in Pinellas County, they need land, and there's no land in Pinellas County.
So you would separate that in 3 separate lots and leave the 2 existing structures, sell those separately. So one was like a 2-bedroom, 1-bath. I think it rented for about $1,200 bucks. The other one was a little bit bigger, maybe 3-bedroom, 1 or 2-bath, and it rented for about $1,400. So now you got 2 single-family homes that you can sell, plus a vacant parcel of land that you might be able to build on.
Possibly. Now, again, as an appraiser, I can appraise it like that. So I can come out there and look at it as the whole 1 acre with the 2 houses. We can do an appraisal as is and let you know, or we can say, however, subject to subdividing the lots as 1 lot and 2 single family houses, it's worth this much. And that's how you would do your analysis to find out what's the best way to go.
Right.
Right now I'm just throwing ideas out there, but in my experience, usually cutting something up and selling it out into different pieces is usually more profitable.
Right.
It's the concept of economies of scale. That's how a lot of these corporations work when they buy a small corporation and break it up. And if you ever watch Pretty Woman, that's what he did.
Yeah.
But you break it up into smaller pieces and you sell the pieces because they're worth more.
Right. Yeah.
And real estate,
like a merger acquisition, but he would also buy it and break it up.
Exactly. And that's what developers do when we talk about that land and the zoning. They buy that one big chunk of land, but they make it into 200 lots.
Yes.
So instead of this big, maybe $500,000 couple acres, now it's 200 lots maybe at $30,000 per lot, or whatever the market is for selling it to the builders, and it's just more profitable that way.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
Absolutely.
We're talking with Ray Hall here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. I'm your host, Brandon Rhymes, Consumer Quarterback Show, and sticking with our theme, kind of the big dog versus the underdog. The big versus small. What do you think about all these hedge funds coming in, buying up a lot of inventory? I mean, it's been going on for a while. I think there's another resurgent list. This company called Blackstone or BlackRock, I guess it is, something like that, coming in, competing with the veteran trying to buy the house, competing with the first-time buyer trying to get his foot in the door. He just graduated college, whatever it might be, or got his first big job, and he's like, hey, I'd buy a house. I want to start a family. So you got these hedge funds coming in competing with those types of buyers. What's your thoughts on that?
Unfortunately, there's nothing we can do about it. They're going to do it, and to a degree, it almost gives a false sense of the market.
Yes.
When we determine market value, it's what the typical buyer is willing to pay for a house under a certain set of circumstances.
Right.
And believe me, the definition of market value is very lengthy that we have to follow.
Right.
The hedge fund coming in, that's not a typical buyer.
Right.
They're not typically motivated. Remember, typical motivation for a single family house in most cases is I'm going to buy this house and live there.
Yeah. Need a place to bring my family. I got to have my kids in school.
Correct. Now, the motivation of a hedge fund is a lot different. Conversely, if a house is broken down and the typical buyer is an investor, that's a different motivation.
Yes.
And as the appraiser, we have to understand what the motivation is of the typical person who buys that house.
Yes.
I've actually gotten in discussions with people wanting broken down houses appraised. And they say, well, afterwards it's going to be worth $300,000. The renovation is $50,000, so the market value is $250,000. And I have to explain to them that no, the typical buyer wants an entrepreneurial incentive of 20 to 30% discount to sweeten the deal to make them want to go through all that.
Yeah.
So, the different types of transactions have different motivations and different kinds of values. And with these hedge funds, if they start buying up all that real estate and it leads to a lot of transactions, you might be looking at pricing that's just not typical.
Yeah.
And it could inflate or even hurt a market. Who knows? It all depends. I mean, remember, it's not just, the mom and pop doing the negotiations. They have their lawyers behind it.
Yep.
They have teams of professionals behind it. So you don't have the typical negotiations behind it. So, we do have to be careful. Unfortunately, I don't know if there's a whole lot of regulation with these hedge funds buying up the real estate. I personally think there should be.
Yes.
And I think the transactions should be tagged. I think it should be noted in MLS that, these transactions were sold to, a corporate sale or sold to a hedge fund because, it's important for us as appraisers to know that.
Yeah.
So that we know that motivation.
Yeah, because they're just an institutional buyer looking for a bottom line for their stockholders or their stakeholders, so they can, the more that they can buy and flip, and then the turnaround side is they're going to turn that around and rent it out at astronomical rents. They're going to raise the rents for people, so it's getting into an issue where people can't afford to live in a certain area because you got these big time buyers coming in pushing up those rates.
Yeah, even some of the companies that I'm going to come out and buy your house and. And you don't have to fix anything. You don't have to do anything. No realtor fees. Nothing. We're going to do that. I saw one of the closing transactions for one of those.
Junk fees.
oh my God, the transaction fee was exactly what a realtor would have charged for commission.
Exactly.
So now this property is, and honestly, when I look at a comp, I look who the buyer was, and if it's one of these companies, I make sure I don't use it as a comparable, or a lot of times I see the prior sale was so much lower, and what happened was they bought it lower, and then they sold it for actual market value.
Yeah.
Took that fee and made a huge profit on that house, and the seller just never knew it was going to go on.
That's great. Great analysis. Ray Hall Appraisals, William Crowley, the credit magician, Diane Vance, Fairway Independent Mortgage. And we want you to please go out there and consider committing a random act of kindness. Do something kind for one another. Be a force for good in the community. And we'll see you next time right here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
You've been listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. Whether it's real estate, consumer, or